You can use your coaching skills with anyone, and you don't need their permission to do it. Really? Yeah. Hi, I'm Sehaam Cyrene, and I teach leaders how to use coaching skills in their conversations at work with their team members, their peers, their boss, and even their suppliers and customers. Before we get into who is coachable and who is not, I want to clarify an important point about having someone's permission to coach them. Now, there's a high chance that I may be misunderstood today on the Leaders Who Coach podcast, especially by some of my peers practicing pure coaching, as in executive coaching or leadership coaching, who, like myself, adhere to ethical standards of coaching as set out by bodies like the International Coach Federation or EMCC. If this is you, I want to emphasize that this podcast is for leaders who coach and who have chosen to upskill, but are not considering, for now at least, investing in months and years of coach accreditation. My Leaders Who Coach podcast is for leaders who are expected to coach their people as part of their role and responsibilities. So let me straighten out any possible misunderstanding from the get-go. If you are partnering with an executive or leadership coach for yourself, for example, which is smart, one-to-one, your coach will ideally set up a clear agreement with you for their coaching services. In effect, you give them permission to coach you and you contract between you how that works, including things like confidentiality and honesty in the partnership for your benefit towards your goals. Absolutely, 100% a formal agreement is essential. Permission is important because not only does it indicate their readiness or your readiness to grow yourself, but from an ethical standpoint, as a coach, you want to be sure your client is freely entering into this partnership with you as their executive or leadership coach. In the context of leaders who coach, do you need explicit permission from, say, your direct report to coach them? Yes, that can be verbal. It does not, in my opinion, need to be written down as in a signed contract, which is probably an admin nightmare given how many people you interact with. Again, I'm sure some of my experienced peers might take issue with that and highlight a reasonable case for having it written down, but practically and realistically, I can't see organisations mandating it. So you should secure an explicit yes from those you coach, if not from ethical considerations of transparency, professionalism, and good intention, then at least as a matter of courtesy and respect. Now, as leaders who coach, do you need permission to use your coaching skills in conversations and meetings? No. You can use your coaching skills everywhere and anywhere and with anyone. Being present and not distracted in conversations, being inviting in your inquiries, asking a simple question and falling silent, letting the other person think, not judging them, listening for their values and what's important to them, not talking at them, not telling them what to do, but being genuinely curious about their concerns and ideas, even when you disagree with them. Mirroring what you've heard them say, noticing changes in their energy or posture. These are all fundamental coaching skills that transform transactional conversations into productive conversations that expand possibilities and outcomes. You might say these are basic conversation skills that we should be learning from a young age. They're certainly not the privilege of executive coaches alone. Imagine how much richer our relationships would be if we all applied these techniques to our conversations with colleagues and our family and friends. So, no, as leaders who coach, you do not need anyone's permission to use your coaching skills in your day-to-day interactions and conversations. You choose to do so because you know how rewarding it is. You gain personally from healthier exchanges with your people, and they feel a stronger connection to you because you offered them space to think and process stuff. And sadly, that's too rare for us social beings. And because it's rare, it holds high social currency and makes you attractive to others who see how you're growing and who want that growth for themselves. As a professional leadership coach myself, I strongly recommend securing permission to coach someone, and I fully advocate for leaders who coach to use their coaching skills generously in as many interactions as possible. Permission to coach someone? Yes, you need that. Permission to use your coaching skills? No, you don't need anyone's permission. For me, these are important distinctions. I would love to know your thoughts on that, so feel free to share your perspectives with me in the comments where available. Now that we have a common understanding about using your coaching skills, let's answer the main question. Who is coachable? Is everyone in your team coachable? What if they don't want to be coached? Let me answer it this way. For sure, members of your team, your direct reports, you would coach them on their professional growth, their work challenges and pressures, their peer relationships, on collaborating with another team, on talking to prospects and clients, anything they need and want to be coached on that unlocks their productivity. For sure, you can use your coaching skills in all your conversations with them about all these things. And in my professional experience, yes, most of your team members will welcome the chance to be coached by you. But on occasion, one or two might opt out. So about that, if some members of your team don't want to be coached, that's 100% okay. And make sure they know that. Don't leave it ambiguous or leave them guessing whether they just made a career limiting move. Be explicit about it. Tell them that's absolutely fine. Look, not everyone is ready or knows enough about what it means to be coached to feel confident going there. First of all, it's a good reminder not to make any assumptions. Just because you and I know it's a great thing to do, it doesn't mean everyone else will feel the same way. There could be lots of reasons why someone doesn't want to work this way. And secondly, it's not in your control. You can only offer it, and the option is theirs to accept or reject. The best thing for you to do in this situation is to respect your team members' wishes, accept their decision, but also keep the door open. Keep practicing your coaching skills when you're in conversation with them, because that's just good conversation hygiene. And of course, as a leader and a people manager, you have responsibilities and are accountable for your team's performance, in which case you need to take appropriate steps should their performance be an issue. And yes, you can use your coaching skills to navigate these difficult conversations. But certainly, don't penalise a team member for choosing to opt out of a coaching partnership with you. Over time, the situation may change, but until then, check yourself for any bias in your behaviour towards them. You can always align on a workable alternative that ensures performance isn't undermined, and equally, they don't miss out on opportunities to increase their own capability and be a team player. In my experience of training leaders to use coaching skills and supporting them to practice those skills in their weekly meetings, it is rare for someone to turn down the opportunity to be supported for their own development, but it can happen. Be patient. Maybe it's a trust issue for both of you. As they get to know you and trust you, they may change their mind. There may come a moment when they really need a confidential ear, and they'll remember that your door is open. If it's a trust issue, you want to take a step back and invest in time to get to know them better and get to know their personal values and allow for them to get to know you either through informal chats or by working with you. The bottom line is most of your team will welcome coaching conversations with you, and occasionally one or two will push back, but you can still use your coaching skills in all your conversations. But are there people who are completely uncoachable? Yes, there are one or two. Uncoachable meaning your coaching skills just don't work on them because they enter a conversation with you with their own personal and private agenda. And for whatever reason, they don't want to share that with you, no matter how great you are at coaching. That's not a negative per se, it's just their preference, and we need to respect their choice. Why someone is not coachable by you or receptive to your coaching skills and conversation can come down to a whole host of reasons, including they just don't trust most people generally, and they don't trust you enough to share any level of their doubts or concerns with you. Their guard is up. They might be struggling with their mental health, in which case a mental health professional is their optimal support if they wish to seek it. Another reason could be that they just don't gel with you. The chemistry between you is off. Maybe they prefer to be coached by someone else, maybe not. And the toughest scenario of all is when they have narcissistic tendencies, in which case that's a whole other ballgame and you'll want to tread carefully. None of these are in your control, and therefore I would encourage you not to worry about it or lose sleep over it. There's nothing for you to do except focus on those who are open and ready for coaching conversations with you. And I'm about to take you through another 5 more groups of people who will be stoked to have some coaching time with you right after this. So don't go anywhere because I'm about to open you to some great possibilities. Why did I build leaders who coach? So I started my coach journey well over 12 years ago now, and as I built up my expertise and skill as a leadership coach, delivering one-to-one sessions and culture programs, I noticed that while the discussions and explorations were hugely valuable in helping my clients gain clarity and feel confident about their decisions, the times when they would get out their pen and notebook to take notes were when we got into what to say and how to say it. This happened again and again, client after client. Long story short, I came to know deeply that when people managers and leaders have my coaching skills for their day-to-day conversations, back-to-back meetings, their feedback conversations and reviews, those difficult conversations, for growing their people, for strategic discussion, whether that's a 5-minute conversation or a scheduled monthly growth meeting, well, wow, what an immediate impact they have on the quality of their relationships, the outcomes and ownership it generates within their teams, and the opportunities all that creates for the business. It could be just holding space for someone. It could be listening without distractions. It could be the simplest question that cuts straight to the heart of the issue. This coach leadership capability brings to the surface the stuff that's really important, that might otherwise take months to show up or would never get expressed. It's in these moments that magical stuff happens. Ideas are generated, problems are solved, and a team bonds. It's what all organizations are chasing and measuring, but few know how to make it happen. Never mind protect it. Leaders Who Coach is that opportunity for every people manager and leader in your organization to confidently and decisively get their people unstuck in minutes instead of weeks, months, or never. If you're curious to know more, check out Leaders Who Coach at coachlead.co/leaders-who-coach, or get in touch with me to explore programs for your people. Okay, who else can you use your awesome coaching skills with besides your team members? Next on my list is your peers. Part of being an influential leader is building relationships with your peers, people operating at the same level as you across the company or even outside the company in your industry generally. Being effective at influencing relies on the depth of your relationships. So, how emotionally connected do you make them feel towards you? Remember, peers include people outside your function or field of expertise. So if you work in tech, you might do well to build relationships with people in sales or marketing. If you work in project management, build relationships with people in finance or strategy. Remember those times when you need to advocate for yourself and your team, and the strength of these relationships will count. For example, in hard times, during a crisis, and during growth periods when decisions will be made about resources, budgets, and strategy. As an influential leader, you want the opportunity to speak into those. So find those opportunities now to use your coaching skills with them to help them get clarity and feel less alone. But don't abuse that trust. Treat your conversations as confidential, even if they don't ask you to. And don't use what you learn to gain an advantage over them because, well, that's just rude and lacks integrity and professionalism. Now that you are sashaying with your peers and holding space for them to think through some ideas and strategies, we mustn't forget the boss. Yes, you can use your coaching skills in conversations with your boss for the exact same reasons as you would hold an inviting space for your peers. Think about how lonely leadership can be. Having someone to listen to them without bias or judgment, to help them think more deeply about a dilemma or difficult decision they have to make, is rare. Be that person. And again, there is, of course, an implicit responsibility on you to hold what they share with you in confidence, as with any coaching conversation. Okay, what about people outside your organization? Who could benefit from your coaching skills in conversations? Your prospects and clients. One of the most effective techniques for building trusted relationships with clients and prospects is to be the person they always learn something from, something about their work or function or industry that they had not been aware of. And that's not always about telling them what to do or advising them to buy your product or service. More likely, it's about using your coaching skills to help them think about their dilemma or issue in a more creative way at depth and help them define for themselves what they need. Sometimes that's working out an approach or a strategy for getting more buy-in within their own organization for your product. And sometimes that's thinking about how they can best use their budget with you in a way that works best for their business. The same for your suppliers and partners. One of my clients recognized that while her supplier wasn't delivering the best service in the market, they were passionate about improving their offering. Seeing that they could work together, she had numerous conversations over time, several months, providing feedback and helping them think about how they could improve their offering to her business. They grew around her business needs and at the same time improved what they were providing all their other clients. Their business flourished. So, as well as your team members and your direct reports, you can use your coaching skills in conversations with your peers, your boss, your prospects and clients, and your external partners and suppliers. The additional fifth and final group of people I haven't mentioned yet are your family and friends. They are great to practice your coaching skills on, and what a wonderful way to strengthen your personal relationships. Time with people who help us get our heads straight are gifts. Thank you for joining me today on the Leaders Who Coach podcast. If you've enjoyed Who's Coachable, do let me know with a thumbs up. And if you have an extra moment, tell me what was most useful for you or what you enjoyed. I'd love you to rate my podcast and review it for other listeners and viewers. And it goes without saying, which is a strange phrase because I'm going to say it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that now. And if you're a regular listener, thank you for your support and kudos to you for investing in your own growth and nourishment. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you check out Building Trust in Every Conversation, where I take you through the Who energy model that I teach on Leaders Who Coach, because it's going to really help you understand what people are looking for in their conversations with you and how you can deliver on that amazing experience. Go ahead and click on that now, and I'll see you there.